So thank you for accepting this interview that will be edited in a TV show actually that we are doing on European series. I love 22 of July. It's a very good series, so I wanted to have an input and know more about your work on the series and the subject and everything. So can you start with pitching the series and the storylines, please?
The 22nd of July 2011, we had this terrible terrorist attack in Norway. And we were all shocked and horrified about what happened, because Norway is a very peaceful country, and it also turned out that this was a terrorist that was a Norwegian. So it was sort of a man killing his own people. We followed all the horrors, and we knew people who had lost their children, and we live in Oslo, so we could see how the town was destroyed. And we live close to the hospital, so we could also hear all the helicopters that came with the injured youth. So we were very involved and thinking a lot about what happened. And we wanted to sort of, I think maybe you always want to work with what fills your mind, what you think about and feel around, you want to sort of use in your creative work. But we didn't know how to present it in a good way, because it's a very, very complex thing that happened. And then we actually watched Tremmy, American TV series, and we found out that there's a good way to tell about this terror attack is to follow the people who are working, like, medical doctors, journalists and policemen, and trying to look at this attack through their experiences. And then we started to work a lot with the research, researching, talking to people who wanted to share with us what they experienced. And from all those interviews and reading books, of course, and following the trial and a lot of different things, we started to create the TV series.
Okay, so you started to work on the project 9 years ago, or did it took a long time to figure out?
Yeah, we started in 2013. I think we started the first, and we approached the broadcaster NRK, and then we had like an idea: how can we tell the story of 22nd of July without somehow interfering with the primal victims and with the perpetrator, and to try to tell it like ripples in the water, to see how it affected the society and how the experience of the terror portrayed through the workers and like people like not in the first line but often in second and third and fourth line, because it affected actually the whole society.
And of course, I assume that it was obvious for you to go and see the public broadcaster in Norway.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was natural, because dealing with this theme and this story that affected so many people, it's sort of like a trauma for so many. And the national broadcaster, they have a very responsibility to tell also taking care of the history of the country. So it felt very safe, and also they gave us a lot of freedom, and also gave us all the time that we could work with this for so many years, and and we knew that as a platform, it would be a very good platform to reach all the people of Norway. So, like, because this, the youth that went to this island, we are a very long country, and the children that were killed on the island, they came from all over Norway. So even though the bomb was in Oslo, this is a story that it's like everybody's story. So it's good with a national broadcaster who has it's a platform for everyone who lives everywhere around in this country. So it felt the right thing to do.
And as creators, what did the fiction, the drama part, brought to this history, according to you?
The things that are fictionalized. I think the most important thing is the way we have to work with the time, because we wanted to how can I say it? We wanted it to be a very realistic series, and we wanted the story to be very, very truthful and very close to all the experiences that we got from all our interviews. And at the same time, we had to work with the dramatic time, how to sort of make some things more compromised and some things very close to how the real time was. So this was helped by the way we could fictionalize some elements, like, for example, how to show the bomb in Oslo, and at the same time being able to be close to the island before anything happens. So we wanted to show how this, like, something terrible happened here, and at the same time, not very far away, people were just, out and drinking and having a good time. So we wanted to sort of show this, and this is what cinema and TV can do, which is so wonderful, is that you can show these different places and these different people, and sort of say that we are part of the same story. We are connected. We have the same story, and this is what the fiction can do. That I don't think is so easy with the documentary in a way. We wanted. You have you have told me that you wanted also the audience to sort of experience this as a now. Like, this is happening now. Like if you see a documentary, it was something that happened before. But if you make a fiction, or fictionalize it, you can.
No. It was important that we should take the audience through like all the different moments of the story, because what's so interesting is and what we learned so much about when we were talking to people, that how long it takes. I mean, the bomb attacks happens like 3:30. The Utøya starts 5:30. But it's not until the morning after that people realize what actually happened, because it's so violent and so hard to understand. So it's also our goal was to, like, take the audience through the experience to relive it again, but try to understand it, all the elements, a little bit more than you did when it really happened, because it felt so tumultuous and chaotic when it happened.
And I assume, of course, the research work was huge. And how did you separate the research work, the documentary part, which must be huge, and all the testimonies that you've gathered, and the work you've done on the drama?
We tried to get all the experiences, and then we just, in the end, we had to use a lot of what we remembered or what we felt like this is the strongest thing, and then we created like one fictional characters who carried all the real experiences. So But it's been an ethic dilemma because, of course, quite a few of the characters in the series are actual characters, and they are the people. Like I don't know if you saw the whole series, but you know the guy who sees, for example, the guy who sees the terrorist walking and he calls the police. This is, of course, one person, and you cannot say that this is someone else. So it's been challenging, but up to now we have had very good response. I think we sort of managed to also explain by some texts and that this is a true story, but it's also a drama series.
Yeah, and that's also a thing that you stick to the real story, but then we can feel that you wanted also to tackle certain subjects that are linked to the fact, but that you wanted really to talk about. Can you say a word about, I mean, extremism, a relation between parents and kids and youth and everything?
This is also because when you read more and more about this story and you learn more and more, you know that the terrorist's life and his childhood and the way he was brought up also sort of goes back to all the systems. So we wanted to show we wanted to see if this story about this boy could sort of also be a sort of echo that could one, show how the system fails, and also be a sort of echo into his life and his childhood. We were thinking that in so many ways that the terrorist, he wants to sort of destroy everything, destroy all our systems, and we wanted to look at these systems. How are these systems working, and what is the main challenge for the people who are working within the system?
But that was also very important because we also wanted to see, because in Norway there's so supposedly very well working society and public systems, but we wanted also to see how people are able to work and act inside these systems. Like the police who were not able to act inside the system, the hospital who were actually able to act because they had their ways of doing it, and so to look at how a system and what ethic and what kind of work rules and what kind of philosophy inside each system that enables you to act and to act on your own too. That was the main problem with the police. They didn't act on their own consciousness or instincts. They were more afraid of doing something wrong inside the system, or to do overtime, or all these things which are really, really scary to think about. That was their concern when this was happening. So, and then the hospital and other who would just like, no, let's go. This is not for now to discuss. We have to act. We have to act, or more people will die.
Yeah, and how did you divide this part? Because we can feel at the start you talk a lot, of course, about the situation in the hospital with the cut in the teams and the cost and everything. And how did you manage to balance those social subjects that go beyond the attack? And we can feel that it's also very important in the series that you address them.
Yes, it is, because that's why we also had like episode 1 that it should take place. We decided very early that we should start that episode 1 should be before the attack, and because then after the attack there were stories we couldn't fit into the, because then the story was also rolling with the terror. But so we then worked. It was quite hard and quite difficult to balance discussing social politics and cuts and things, and but we wanted that. We wanted this also to discuss like the new public management ideology. It was like somehow taking the lead of all. It's about politics somehow, but it affects us all. So it was that I felt was really important to discuss.
And also some parts of this came through the research, like that was also what was good with the research was that it was quite open in the start. Like we were not too decisive about what we want to tell before when we started to do the interviews, and we met all these doctors that were so frustrated at the hospital, and they said to us, like, of course, 22nd of July, we did a good job, but this was despite of what is happening here. So that was quite, in a way, shocking to learn about how this hospital has been sort of run in a very strange way, and that the doctors are so frustrated.
Yeah, the same with the police, and the same where they are so concerned about budgets, and it's also like a hierarchy in the police where you have to, if you write that everything went well, you will rise in the system. If you attack problems, you will be out. So it's almost like a power corruption system that stops the policemen. All the policemen we talked, they wanted to do a good job, but they felt their system was like crippling them.
And in the writing, how did you balance between, of course, emotion, because it's a huge subject for your Norwegian society and also for, all Europe and the world nowadays. We have a lot of series that treat that situation that we all know, in France and many other countries. How did you balance this? Because it's of course, you go strong into the emotion as soon as you understand that the attack has been on and the killings and everything, but we can follow all the episodes without being just drawn into this emotion. And you also tackle with other subjects. How did you balance in the writing?
I don't know. We just tried to. We knew that we did not want to be afraid of the pain. We wanted to. We did not want to make action or build it up in like a fake genre. We wanted it to be realistic, but we also wanted it to show the horror that this is about dead people. They die. They're gone forever. They are coming in coffins. They have to be go to hospital so that they can tell the parents who's dead. And we wanted to tell this to show how terrible this terrorism is and killing people. And we wanted to trust that people can bear it. That it's not, the audience is not stupid. They can take it. They can bear it. And I think this was important in the writing, but we also had the very good editing process. We edited for, I think, almost
16 months.
16 months. So we used a very long time to edit it, and we also restructured some parts in the editing to make like to try to see, okay, here here we have to maybe do some things to shift, or because the audience they can take it so far but not further, but we were quite nervous just before when we were going to send it. We were like, okay, maybe nobody's going to want to see it because it's too sad,
But because there is one thing that we discussed a lot and we tried to find a way to tell, because this is a very, there's been many, like tons and miles of television news reels about this event. So we also wanted to find images that could go, and people are like getting their guard up. They don't want to see. They are like, I've seen this. But then we work very hard to find images to go that people hadn't seen, hadn't thought about, like the priest working and like the cars of the coffins coming, and find images that people didn't expect and hadn't seen to go beyond what they already knew about the events.
And was it public that you wanted to create a series on those events as soon as 2013, as you said? Did it go public, and was it a subject for the victims, for press, for the people?
It was.
Yes, but at that time, so early, we knew also that the parent group that had lost their children, they were very vulnerable, and they still are, and that we kept everything like very low key, and then we had a good communication with them. So we were always informing them that we're working on this project and it's going to come, but it's not until maybe 2019, 2020. And in the meantime, while we were working on the project, we had there was 2 films about the terrorist attack. So it didn't feel so like it felt like a good timing that it took so long time, and that people were ready to see it and remember it, because now there's a whole generation of kids that don't really know what happened, and they can watch this at school, and I think that's great.
Thank you very much. Waiting for the release. People will be there, and I hope also that it will help other countries to treat the subject, because it's more difficult sometimes.
That's true. But thank you very much for taking contact.
No, thank you for taking some time, and hopefully we will see each other for real, perhaps next year in Fontainebleau.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.